Okay, so when you're done with your rollover buttons, you're going to want to bring your rollover buttons, your header, and your footer into Dreamweaver on all 5 pages. And remember, the 5 pages you need are a home, about us, a menu page, a location page, and a specials page. So when I'm in Dreamweaver, I'm going to go to File, New, and document type that you're looking for is HTML right up here. Click Create. Okay. Now remember, this has to say Standard up here in the top right corner, and you want to be looking at a split design. Make sure that you also see your Properties tab down here at the bottom. If you do not see your Properties tab, you're going to want to go up to Window and make sure Properties is selected. Okay. Also, you can adjust your workspace so that you can either see more or less of the code area. This is the design section up here that we're going to be working with. I'm going to bring this down because I'm not going to be working with the code section. Okay. So to bring the header and the footer in, these are just simple images. We're going to go to Insert Image. And I'm going to bring in Lexi's header from her folder on the Vartuli drive. You remember we talked about this, and when you bring it in, it's very large, so you're going to want to pull on the bottom right corner. Okay, make it smaller, and you always want to save it, Control S. And I'm going to save it to her folder in the DW Websites folder. I'm just going to leave it as Untitled 1 for now. Hit save, and then if I hit F12 on the keyboard, it previews in a browser, and I can see it's much too small. I actually need to bring it over because when you're looking at full screen in a browser, you want it to reach from left to right across the top. Okay, so I would actually then resize this to about there. Okay, and then I could check it again in the browser. Save it, F12 in the browser to check it. Same thing with your footer. I'm going to hit enter a bunch of times with my cursor. I'm going to go to Insert Image. I'm going to find the footer. Click OK. Here's my footer. And I want to match the size of the footer to my header. So you can do a little shortcut now. If you select your header down here on the Properties tabs, it will give you the width and the height dimensions. So what I could do is I could just remember them. And then what I can do is I can select my footer, and I can adjust the width and the height to match the dimensions of the header. And now when I save this, Control S, and then F12 on the keyboard to preview, I can see they're the same size, and obviously this in-between section is where we're going to add a lot of content, and this needs to move way down. Okay, so I could just hit enter a bunch of times and keep moving it down. Right underneath your header is where you want to add your rollover buttons. That's a little different because it's not just an image. So you're going to go to Insert, and then you're going to go to HTML, and you're going to find Rollover Image. Okay? This gives you an option to add the original state of your button and then what it will look like when you roll over it. So I'm going to browse for my first state. Here's her home button. I'm going to browse for the second one. That's what it looks like when you mouse over it or roll over it. Click OK, and now you can see that her button is there. Control S to save, F12, and now you can see that when I'm in the browser, I'm looking at my header, my footer, and the rollover button is working. Okay, so we're going to want to do that for all 5 of your buttons. Put them underneath here. Match the dimensions, same way width and height that you do with your header and footer. Make sure they're all the same size and that they're working. And then the last thing is you actually want to take these buttons and you want to link them to your pages. So this is one page. Mine's called Untitled because I don't want to save over Lexi's home page. But what I can do is I can select this button, and I'm going to want to go down to my Properties tab or wherever you have it, right, left, top, wherever you have it. Go to Link, and there's a little folder over here that I can select, and I can actually link the home button to the home page. So I can see that she has a home page right here. This E, it's an HTML file. That's how I can tell it's an actual web page. I'm going to click on it, click OK, and then when I save this and I hit F12 on the keyboard, if I actually click on this, I can see that it took me to her home page that she has created, which only has her header and her footer in it right now. Okay, so I would go ahead and start inserting all of my rollover images to About Us. And then I want to select it, and I want to go down here to the folder, and I want to link it to the About Us page. Now, she doesn't have an About Us page. How do we create a new page? It's just another HTML file. So I would go to File, New, HTML document, just like we did at the beginning, And then I can put my header and my footer in here again, my rollover buttons, and I would save this file, save as, the About Us page, to your folder on the DW website. So you will have 5 of these tabs open when you're all said and done. All of them will have your header, your footer, and your 5 rollover buttons, plus they should be linked to each other. After that, you're going to want to start adding your content down here to your pages. So if this is my home page, I'm going to want to look at my restaurant website plan document that I created and turned in on Google Classroom. And I'm going to decide where I can put all the content that I've added. So you're going to need your menu, your paragraph, your Animoto. You're going to want your hours of operation, your location with your Google Map embedded. Everything that's on your restaurant website plan, you need to now start transferring to your 5 pages in Dreamweaver. And make sure that you save everything to the DW websites folder.